When Jay-Z made the partnership with the NFL, I did not make a video. Many of you were sending me emails and social media posts and saying, Phil, you going to say something about that? I said, no. I wanted to see exactly what Jay-Z is going to do and the moves he's going to make before I open my mouth and say anything. That way I have a little bit more to talk about. Now some moves have been made. Now let's go ahead and talk about Jay-Z. I knew right off the bat that when I heard that Jay-Z made a deal with the NFL after telling Jermaine Dupri, don't work with the NFL, when he told Travis Scott, don't perform, telling different people not to perform, but yet all this time he's working a deal with the NFL. Jay-Z is definitely a capitalist. And as Dame Dash said, Jay-Z, of course, everyone knows he's a snake. He gonna be Jay. Now, also the language. Social change. Watch that language. Social change, social justice, all of the little terminology, no different than the word diversity, okay? If we're not hearing black empowerment, if we're not hearing black community, if we're not hearing any of that, then we ought to say, wait a minute, what are you talking about here? Because social justice could be something that has nothing to do with us. Think about that. I don't even want to go into all the different things that it could mean. It don't have to mean anything. Now, Colin Kaepernick said police brutality. He didn't say social justice. He didn't say social change, nothing about that. Police brutality. And he talked about police brutality against young brothers in America. And also that happens to young sisters as well. Okay, that was he was talking about. So Jay-Z and the NFL, they decided to give money to some charities. Now, a lot of times these charities are ran not by black people who they'd rather give the money to. They'd rather take the money from the NFL and give it to other white folks. That's usually how it's going to work. They're not going to hand money to black organizations that's ran by real black people. I'm not talking about your National Urban League blacks. I'm not talking about your NAACP blacks. I'm not talking about, you know, all them little groups like that, the bought and paid for ones. I'm talking about real black folks. OK, they're not usually going to do that. So they decided to give the money to one of the organizations called the Crushers Club out of Chicago. Now they split the money with two charities, a $400,000 donation. Now this one by the name of Sally Hazelgrove was pictured cutting off the dreads of a young black man. She tried to convince them that they need to cut their dreads, that they don't need to be like that. But yet this woman has been exposed as extremely right wing. She is a Trump supporter. She supports people like Candace Owens, and you know her little rhetoric against black people, but yet she wants to, quote unquote, help black people with that kind of rhetoric. Now, we know that the natural hair of the black man and black woman greatly offends this society. We know that. We know the history of the laws just in California and I think New York City. Now they have laws that say you can't discriminate against natural hair. But that's just two places, and that's just New York City, not New York State. So you have the rest of the states that still can discriminate against you in natural hair. Hatred for natural hair is built into the system of racism and white supremacy. So this picture of this woman cutting this brother's dreads is nothing but racism. And yet this is who the NFL and Jay-Z decides to give money to. You understand? Now you could talk about Jay-Z and say Jay-Z sold the community out. Now you could say it. As all these black people defending Jay-Z, Jay-Z making power moves. Jay-Z, he gonna get in the inside and he gonna infiltrate the NFL. Jay-Z, he gonna buy a team. Man, do you know the most inexpensive team is the Buffalo Bills, and that's still worth $1 billion? And we know you're talking about the stadium. How Jay-Z don't have $1 billion liquid to be going to buy no team? You think he'll give Jay-Z 50% of the Buffalo Bills? What are he going to do with it? Always just talk about Jay-Z like y'all won something because Jay-Z sat down with the NFL. If Jay-Z was about the right thing, the first thing Jay-Z should have said is say, look, okay, NFL, one of y'all got to pick up Colin Kaepernick. I can't do nothing if y'all don't pick him up. Because then if you pick him up, Then I have something to work with. But no, Jay-Z is using this like just another music deal. He's gonna be over the Super Bowl and making sure artists come to do that. You get what I'm saying? So Jay-Z's worrying about Jay-Z and lining Jay-Z's pockets. Period. Jay-Z don't care about black folks like that. He used black people to get his money. Jay-Z is thinking about Jay-Z. Understand that. Now you may say Jay-Z got enough money. Why he trying to stack more and more money? That's just how capitalism and greed works. Because if I had $900 million, I don't care about making any more. I'm good. My kids are set up. My family's set up. I'm fine. But that's just how it goes. And Jay-Z don't care about any of y'all like that. Jay-Z, you know, I don't even want to start going at Jay-Z personally too much. Because, you know, for me, you know, Jay-Z is just looking real ridiculous. And then that first video that came out, they asking Jay-Z about what's going on. He double talking. He don't know what it's about. Trying to say we done kneeling. He didn't kneel one day. So why are you trying to say we done kneeling? But the thing is, Jay-Z just exposed himself. That's all. And you know, one thing that I always was told, you just keep saying good morning. You'll see what happens with people. People will tell on themselves eventually. And Jay-Z just exposed himself. But in this country, you know, I mean, he's quote unquote a celebrity. And even though a lot of people are upset with Jay-Z, let's just see if Jay-Z gonna really feel it from the community. Because he just sold out. He sold out. For what? He didn't need to do that. He had money. He had fame. He had everything. There was no reason for him to sell out like that. But Jay-Z thought he was going to raise his stock, and that's what he wanted to do. So Jay-Z basically said, F the black community. And that's fine for him to say that. At least he exposed himself. But leave me a comment, let me know what you think about the situation with Jay-Z and the NFL and all the people that thought he was making a power move. I wonder what your response to this is now.